Hey there, Retro Games fans, this is Andy C from Pieces of 8-Bit, and welcome to this week's The Bit Between. And this week we're going to be heading onto the battlefield with one of the Game Boy Advance's most iconic strategy titles. That is called Advance Wars, of course. And the reason I picked this game, is because I love this game. I absolutely love this game. I played this game for hours and hours and hours on the Game Boy Advance, and I wasn't going to do it as part of the month with or the Bit Between because I just didn't think I was going to fit it into a 10-minute playthrough. But you know what? I thought I've got to do it. I can't, in all good conscience, go through an entire month with the GBA and not play Advance Wars or not have another look at this amazing, amazing, iconic strategy title. So, a little bit of background then before we dive into some gameplay. It was released in 2001 in Japan, and we waited just a year before we got it worldwide in 2002. It was developed by Intelligent Systems, the same team that bought us Fire Emblem, which is a game that I've recently had a look at. As part of the month with, I went and had a look at Fire Emblem, and I can definitely see that they are related. But whilst Fire Emblem leans very heavily into the fantasy and permadeath mechanics, Advance Wars takes a very different approach. It's got bright visuals, modern military units, and of course a much more accessible pick up and play style of strategy. And that accessibility really does pay off. The game was a critical hit. It scored over 92% in some reviews, 92 on Metacritic, and was widely praised for its gameplay system, its addictive turn-based combat, and surprisingly deep tactical options. It is amazing. It seems very, very simple on the surface, but it is, really quite involved when you get into it. And as a result of that, it really quickly became one of the standout titles on the Game Boy Advance, especially actually in the West, where it helped introduce us all to a whole new, the game introduced us to this whole new idea of strategy genres. We were essentially a new audience for it. In terms of sales, actually sold pretty well for a strategy title on a handheld. Sold over 600,000 copies, which was largely down to North America and Europe sales, which, like I say, is not bad for a genre that traditionally doesn't do that well on consoles, and especially not portable ones. And what really sets it apart, though, is its personality. It has a colourful art style. It's got memorable commanding officers, so Andy, Max, and Sami. Each bring their own abilities and their own tactical quirks. And as a result, the game manages to blend charm with depth in a way that feels completely fresh, especially for the time. And to be honest with you, I play games like Polytopia nowadays, and I'm kind of looking for that stylized, tactical, turn-based gaming on the go. And it sort of scratches the itch. But it all started here with this fabulous game on the GBA. And it wasn't just a one-off success. It kicked off a beloved series. We had Advance Wars 2, Black Hole Rising, which landed in 2003, and then later entries arriving on the Nintendo DS as well. So what we're going to do today is we're going to dive back into the original, and we're going to see how it holds up and how it plays on the original hardware, and whether it earns its place as one of GBA's all-time greats. Now, I've had to play this game for a couple of hours, really, just to get a bit further in so I can actually demonstrate what's going on. I've started all of the training missions, and you get to see quite a lot through the training missions. So we're going to start with the helicopter training mission. I haven't done it yet, so it could be a disaster. So we're going to go in there, and I'm going to just talk you through a little bit about what's going on. We'll try and play for about 10 or 15 minutes. It's going to be very, very difficult to give you a flavour of what this game is like in that amount of time, but we'll give it our best. Now, for the purposes of recording, I will be playing this on the emulator, but I have played this on the Game Boy Advance quite a lot over the last month. But annoyingly, I can't transfer my save very easily, so I've had to start again on the emulator to show you good people, but that's okay. So yeah, let's dive into the gameplay straight away, and yeah, you can have a look at Advance Wars. Hopefully you get a bit of a taste for it and fancy going back and having a look. So let's dive straight in with some gameplay. Okay, so we're going to do the field training. I'll just give you a bit of a clue, or show you a little bit about some of the other things you can do as well. So if I just come back out of this for a moment. So we've got our link mode that allows us to do multiplayer. We've got a versus mode, allows us to just play between 1 and 4 players, and you just play a single game. or we've got our field training, which is what we're diving into today. So you can see here on just on the emulator here, I've done a few already. It appears I haven't done unit repair, but I don't think that matters. We're going to go to copter tactics, so hopefully that will give you a bit of a flavour for how the game works. So let's dive into that already. Okay, so Orange Star has hit a snag in its medium tank development program. On the other hand, Blue Moon seems to have more than enough tanks. Well, that's bad news for us, of course. I think it's safe to assume that they have mass production capabilities. I pulled some strings, had some B-copters and T-copters sent down from the front lines, but that doesn't give you all that much more firepower. Nevertheless, let's make good use of them. So this could be quite tricky. I'll give you more details once we reach the staging area. Let's move out. Okay, so this might be quite hard. I don't remember doing this one. It's been a long time since I've done this particular one. Alright, you get a lot of background. It is a training mission, so fair enough. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to load this guy into here. Alright, okay. I'm getting a lot of almost like unnecessary amounts of guidance here. Drop, and we're going to pop them in there. Okay, this is the only place you can drop troops. Do you know why? Infantry can't move on the ocean. You can only drop infantry terrain. Okay, yep. It is a little bit spoon-feedy. Alright, let's test the battle. Okay, alright. So, right, whilst I've got the ability to move around now, I'll show you what's going on. So, I've got infantry units at the top here. I've got some heavy artillery units here, so they sort of have slightly more powerful weapons. I've got a ranged weapon here, so I can fire missiles, and then I've got a small tank here. I've got bases, so these little red cities here are mine. That is my HQ, so I have to protect that at all costs, otherwise I lose the game. The enemy obviously have got their bases here. Their headquarters is all the way down the bottom here. So this could be quite easy because I don't think they're going to make it over there before I've captured their base. So that maybe this is going to be a short mission. Maybe that's a good thing. What I'll do is, depending on how things go, I'll show you some of the battling and whatever as well as we go along. So it's turn-based, so I've got basically moves that I can make here. So I've got this, it mentioned earlier, this armoured personnel carrier. I can pop people in there, and then I can travel longer distances. Obviously, people can also march. And then basically, if we click on the B button, we can see our range as well of where we can move to. If I click on this one, that'll show where I can also fire. So at the moment, that's no one in range of that. Now, she asked me to send my helicopter somewhere. So let's, just like the transport copter, this means terrain doesn't affect movement range. Alright, let's try this then. Test your B-copter. Alright, so I assume if I go here, and then click fire, click there. Okay, quite powerful then. Yes, they are very powerful, yes. Battlecopters are even effective versus tanks. Plus, with their superior movement capabilities, they're easy to deploy. Now, let me tell me a little bit more about your copter. Pay careful attention to the enemy copters and the medium tanks. All we have that we can go toe-to-toe with them are our battlecopters. So play it safe and keep them out of attack range until necessary. Okay, other than that, don't forget to capture the enemy HQ. Tomorrow, I'm sure Olaf hasn't considered the possibility that it could be captured early on. Good luck. Alright, so what I'm probably not going to do is capture this right away at the end of my turn because I want to show you a little bit more detail. So let's... Now, they've got a small tank over here. If I move this to here, and let's start moving my guys over here a little bit. If I move that there, and I'll pop him in there, now I'm a personnel carrier. I'm going to move him all the way over to here, and then I'm going to drop him, pop him there. And then let's move these guys down. Now you get, depending on where you are, so you can see you've got your cities. You also have these are woodland. You can get mountains as well, and you get different. Yeah, there's some mountains up here. Look, if you click on R, I think it is. It tells you a little bit about what your defensive capability are. So you can see there it says mountain defensive capability 4-star. So if you're on the mountain, not only will you take less damage, but you will also inflict more damage as well. But it does slow your movement down. Then you've got places like rivers. They will have the opposite effect. So you have very little defensive capability there. So someone shooting it into somebody that's in the river is going to have an advantage. Your cities offer some defensive capability, as do the little woodlands here as well. So we've got lots of ability to defend ourselves. Now, what I don't know is whether this tank is going to be able to shoot our helicopter, but I've used all my movements up now, so it's end of our turn. So I click on end, and it's now their opportunity to move. All right, so he's just... oh, that's bad. That's a really bad start. Ouch. I was kind of hoping that wouldn't happen, but... oh, okay. So I've already... That's bad then. So these are probably my most useful ranged weapons, and I've already lost them on my first turn. So... oh dear, this is all going very, very badly. But at least you get an idea about what's going on, if nothing else. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to send... I'm going to send these guys back, all the way back to the city. They will have the advantage of being able to recuperate there, so their scores will go up. I'm going to remove this tank as well. I'm going to send that one back, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go all the way. Actually, I'm not going to do that. Hang on. If I move this guy down here, I'm going to actually try and see if I can take out these tanks. Yay! There we go. That actually worked. So I've got sort of little rocket launchers there, so a reasonably powerful position. Now, I don't think I want to take on one of those medium tanks. I'm going to pop them in there, and I'm going to just move them back up here again, I think, just for the moment. Alright, now I'm going to take my helicopter all the way up to here. And I'm going to leave that there. So if they're going to obviously advance. Now, in theory, I can actually finish the game at this point, because if I capture this... in the next go, well, one more go. I've got one more go, and then basically I should be able to defeat that. That's assuming they can't capture my base before then, but obviously they're not even there yet. So I think we're going to get a bit of a drubbing on this next go. That's a technical term. So let's move down there for the minute. I think that's all I want to do at this point. I'm going to move my helicopter back over here, just in case I want to transport some people out of harm's way. And then we're going to finish. There we go. So let's click end. I've got the ability to also to save if I want to. So that, which is really cool. So you can actually just, with your missions, if they're going on a while, you can save and come back to them, which is really, really useful. Not something that was universally done back then. So that's really cool as well. You can see here I've got all my stats on my units. You can see here how much fuel they've got, which is something else I need to... obviously, it said to bear in mind, so let's have a look. Helicopter is 85 of 99, so we're okay at the moment. That's fine. Could be, and then let's end our turn. Right, so we're going to be in trouble here. That's going to be the end of that unit, I think. Oh no, actually, that wasn't as bad as I thought. Yeah, these guys could be in trouble. Oh, it's one guy left. We didn't do any damage whatsoever. Oh, yeah. Sorry, mate. I think that might be the end of your go. Right. I absolutely love the. I love the ease of getting into this game. The tutorial's really, really good. It gives you some nice easy missions to start you with, and then it does get sort of gradually more difficult as time goes on. Oh, that's interesting. They are actually able to shoot my helicopters. Well, no bother, because I can actually can I finish the game here? I think I can. So before I do that, let's just hang on a minute. Let me come back all the way back out of there. So, but yeah, before I do that, I'm gonna perhaps take on a little bit of it's just damage 2%. I don't think that's. I mean, that's just going to be suicide, isn't it? I don't really think I want to do that, but I kind of just want to show you the mechanics of the game. I'll tell you what I will try and do though. Let me see if I can squeeze out of here. What can I shoot? Oh, I can shoot there. So let's have a go at these guys over here. Alright, well, I did a little bit of damage. But it helps. Every little bit helps, because you know, the weaker they are, obviously the less punch they're going to pack. Let's see if I can pop this guy out here as well. And have a go with just shooting these dudes. Excellent. That's worked really, really well. So, cool, right. Okay, I think I can probably just end my turn now. So I'm going to just capture this, and I'm going to finish this game here. There we go. So I mean, you know, I could have saved myself some misery there, but yeah. Right. Okay. Keep up the good work. And I suppose this works quite well because it ends up being quite a short go. So there you go, we won that one. It wasn't the best example of how to do it. Mind you, I got an A. I got an A, so it wasn't a total catastrophe. I probably could have saved some troops there as well, but there you go. All right, so there you go. That's a bit of a view of the gameplay. Hopefully, you get an idea about what you've got to do and the way that the turn-based setup works. But let's go and grab my final thoughts now, and I'm going to tell you what I think about this game and whether I think you should get back into it in 2026. I'll see you there. So there you go, that was a little playthrough of Advance Wars on the Game Boy Advance. Luckily picked a mission that I could play in about 10-15 minutes. That wasn't by design, that was more of a fluke. But yeah, I enjoyed that. That was good fun. And yeah, I think my general feeling is that this game hasn't dated at all. And I think it's the nature of the sort of game. It's not about the graphics, it's not about the set pieces or any of that kind of stuff, you know, like that you expect in a lot of games. It doesn't really matter. This is a strategy game, and so it's quite nicely stylized, and I think that's dated okay. I think it's dated quite well, actually. It's still very, very playable. The mechanics still make loads and loads of sense. It's still very challenging. So yeah, I think it's great. I don't think time has been cruel to this game at all. I think it's as fresh as it was when I played it probably some 24 years ago. So obviously you've seen my little playthrough on the emulator here for sort of 15 minutes or so, but I've been playing this a lot on the Game Boy Advance. I've put quite a few hours into this game, not because I wanted to review it, but just because I really enjoyed it, and it was one of my favourite games on the GBA. So the question is, do I still think it's one of my favourite games on the GBA, and what would I rate it today? Well, the answer is yes, it is still one of my favourite games on the GBA. As soon as I started to get back into it, I absolutely loved it. I think I really, really enjoyed playing, and it's been fantastic to get and play and you know, just really remind myself why I enjoyed this game so much before. And it's an easy one to score. This is a 4 out of 5. Very, very easy to score. It is deserved. I mean, you could almost go 4.5, but you know what? I'm feeling generous. I'm going to say 4.5. I am going to say 4.5 because why am I rating it 4? There's no reason to rate it 4. So yeah, 4.5. This game is just brilliant. I love it. If you love this sort of strategy game, if you love this turn-based strategy game, you want pick up and play, you want save, you want stylized graphics, you want it to be challenging enough and to have a lot of depth, then this is the game. It has it all. It's all there. It's even got a nice little soundtrack, which I really enjoyed too. So there you go. That is my view of this game. Definitely go seek it out. You can obviously play this on the original Game Boy. You can get it emulated as well. I don't think I saw it on the Switch. I don't think it was there on the GBA games, but correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, I just played this on the GBA. It is just brilliant, and yeah, I strongly suggest you go and do the same. It is fantastic. So there you go. That is the bit between for this week. That is Advance Wars on the GBA. So coming up on the channel then, on Friday, we will be wrapping up the month with series for the Game Boy Advance, which I've been playing throughout the month of April. And yeah, we've also got a racing challenge coming up, which is Motorhead, I think it's called. Yeah, obviously we'll be continuing with Bit Between and the Friday videos as well, but more on that on Friday. I'll let you know what's coming up in a little bit more detail on the channel then as well. But stay tuned for anything that you've for any new content, and obviously if you enjoy these videos, please do hit that like and subscribe button. At the time of recording, I had 998 subscribers. Oh my days, I'm so close to reaching 1,000, and it's not about the numbers for me. It is absolutely about what it means in terms of the fact that many people have taken the time to watch my videos, hit that like button maybe, and subscribe to my channel because they want to see what more content there is. So thank you so much for your support, for anybody who's done that so far. Yeah, I mean, I just hope that everybody enjoys my videos. That's what it's all about. But reaching 1,000 milestone is a really big thing for most small channels. Very few channels get that far. So certainly in the grand scheme of things on YouTube, for sure. So yes, thank you everybody. By the time I speak to you again, maybe I'll have made it. Maybe I'll have made it to 1,000. Who knows? But yes, probably just leaves me to say then, thanks all for watching. Please do all take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, bye for now.